Kinky-Curly Curling Custard is a really old product when it comes to natural hair and natural hair products, and it is a product that people either love or they hate. And sometimes the hate comes from the fact that the person may not know exactly that nuance or that trick to using it properly. So I'm making the video that I wish that I would have had back when I was having some difficulties when using this product. But first, hello everyone, Kayla here, and this is What the Kink, a natural hair channel where I do frequently use Kinky-Curly. People may come across my videos and be like, girl, but the product don't work for me, and I got you. So let's start off at the top. One reason why you might be having difficulty with Kinky-Curly Curling Custard is because you are not using their leave-in. That might be the first issue. There is some kind of magic in that leave-in that goes along with the Kinky-Curly Curling Custard that helps it to actually define your curls and helps it to actually work. I can tell you from first-hand experience, I tried to use the custard as a one and done. Like I remembered from the way back past that I was able to get definition with it. I had never used the leave-in before. I tried to use the custard alone and I got nothingness. My hair was sticky, heavy, goopy, boogers everywhere, no curl definition, and I used way too much product. The reason why it had worked for me in the past, unbeknownst to me, is because I used to leave a little bit of my rinse out conditioner in my hair, and that was helping to make the custard work. So I would start off using their leave-in just because it's easy, it's on the shelf, it's right next to it, and then you can move on from there trying to find things that kind of give you that same result using other leave-ins if you choose to do so. However, I will say as far as price points go, I feel like their leave-in is not terribly expensive, especially when you put it up against how much leave-ins cost from other natural hair brands. The second reason you may have difficulty with the Kinky-Curly system in general is that you may not be diluting the leave-in. Now, there was a wave of people who diluted the leave-in outside of it being in the hair, literally pouring half of it into another bottle of an empty bottle, and then putting water in half the thing. However, I don't like to do things like that because I feel like I'm introducing bacteria or the possibility of bacteria to my products. I also feel like the cosmetic chemists have formulated it just to be so balanced, but I do dilute the product in my hair. So I apply it and then I quickly go into the water and kind of zhoosh it through and do that. If I feel like I need more product, I do that first. The reason why I think it's really important to dilute this product, and I use dilute loosely because I know people tend to think it means the first way, but I dilute this product this way because the Kinky-Curly leave-in tends to be thick, and it tends to be, for me personally, it doesn't have a lot of slip until you add water to it. So those two things combined with then trying to get a wash and go style, you may not get the best result. So definitely diluting it is another option that you can take if you're just someone who's just putting that conditioner on your hair full force and not putting any water. Another reason you may be experiencing difficulty with using the Kinky-Curly system is you are using way too much custard. Way too much custard. Let me tell you, it is easy to overdo it with this stuff. I found that when I'm using the leave-in and I use just a decent amount of the custard, I get a perfect result. If you put too much of this custard, it is horrible. It is horrifying. The result that you get from using too much of this custard, the hair is heavy, it's sticky, it's gummy, and it's extra reactive to humidity if you have too much of the Kinky-Curly custard in your hair. Now, these two are going to be heavily dependent upon where you live or your preference for your hair. But the first thing is it could be simply that you're not using a topper and you need to use one. You're not using an additional product on top of the leave-in and the custard to help you get the longevity that you're looking for. I know for me, where I live, I get a great result with the product as is, but I do typically apply some sort of topper over the top of it because it's humid where I live. And so I'm only going to get about 4 days unless I put a topper over it. However, if you live somewhere more dry, you may be able to just use the system as is and the hair looks great the entire week. But if you're not getting that, you might want to consider trying to put a topper over it. And then the next thing that, again, is based off your preference, but you may be getting results that aren't that great because you are air drying. Now, again, if you live somewhere that is more dry, you can probably air dry this and get away with it. However, I cannot. I know that I cannot go outside. I could probably air dry the Kinky-Curly system if I stayed inside all day for 2 days. But I know that I am not going to go outside with Kinky-Curly of all things in my hair without fully drying it, because it is a combo that does react to humidity very, very strongly, and the hair will just puff out and never really fully set. I don't really have any solutions for this one, but you could be experiencing issues with the Kinky-Curly system because your hair doesn't like aloe. I know people who are like, yeah, my hair locks up the instant that aloe touches it, or aloe makes my hair feel dry, so on and so forth. Aloe is in the custard. And then there is speculation from years ago on the science, what's it, Natural Haven Bloom blog, where she speculates that the ingredients on the leave-in may not be the full ingredients of the product, just because of the way that the formulation to her doesn't make sense. If that's the case, aloe could possibly be on there, because the first ingredient is not water on that leave-in. If your aloe is on the leave-in and you don't like aloe, that could also be another reason why you were experiencing an issue with using the Kinky-Curly products. And I would say really at that point, there's really no solution that I have for you. Give up and maybe try other products that are considered a system, like Trelux or Curl Mix. They are the same type of these two products go together type vibe, but perhaps maybe they don't have aloe in it. I haven't looked at the ingredients of those different things recently, but I think those options are aloe free. I don't know, the Trelux may have aloe, but if you're sensitive to aloe though and you have not checked the ingredients for the Kinky-Curly, it's definitely in there, so you might want to leave it alone. Kinky-Curly has been getting a lot of love over on this channel. Definitely make sure that you're looking at the base study related videos, because first we had the leave-in as a base, and then we also did the custard as a base, and then I'm moving on from the Kinky-Curly world after that. So definitely stay tuned to future videos that are on the base study. In the meantime, subscribe. I post videos every week, and I will talk to you in the next one.